We will deploy ASP.NET Core App to Azure App Services with GitHub Actions CICD pipeline. CICD, as you know, stands for Continuous Integration and Continuous Delivery of Apps. This automates integration, testing, and deployment. This is our quiz app made in ASP.NET Core. It asks 4 questions to the user and in the end gives all the correct answers. Let me show it's working. This is the app. It contains 2 projects, an MVC project and then a console project. The MVC project contains the quiz code and the test project contains the testing codes. This is the test methods. Let me run the test. You can see all the tests have passed successfully. This CICD image explains the working. When we push the app code to the GitHub repository, the GitHub Actions workflow gets triggered and it will build the app and push the published files of the app to Azure App Service. So this way our app will get deployed. There are 4 steps which we will perform to create the CICD pipeline. Step 1. Create GitHub Actions workflow file. Step 2. Create an app on Azure App Services. Step 3. Create GitHub repository. Step 4. Push the app from local PC to GitHub repository. This will trigger the workflow and our app will be deployed to Azure. Let's create the GitHub Actions workflow file. We now create workflow file on the directory of the app. Create a new folder and name it .github. Then inside this folder we create another folder called workflows. Inside the workflows folder, create a YAML file called .net.yml. Note that all the workflows files should be kept inside the .github/workflows folder. Name of the workflows file can be anything, but they should have .yml or .yaml extension. Let's add the code on the workflows file. So we open it on Visual Studio. The first code line specifies the name of the workflow. I have named it .net. Then with the on key we specify the events that will trigger the workflow. Here we specify 2 events, push to the repository and pull request to the repository. These events are triggered over the push and the pull to the main branch of the repository. Next we specify the environment variable with env key. This variable is named Azure_webapp_name and its value is given quiz. Note that when we will create an app on Azure App Services, then we will name it quiz. So this means the name should be the same. Next we define the workflows jobs. A job is a set of steps that is executed on the same runner machine. A runner machine is simply a virtual machine which GitHub creates every single time a job is needed to run. Jobs are defined on the workflow by the jobs key. I name the job as build. This name can be anything. Then I define the runner virtual machine to run this job. The runner machine in my case is Ubuntu. A job contains a sequence of tasks called steps. Here I have defined a few tasks. The first task is action/checkout v4, which tells GitHub to download the code from the repository into the runner machine. The second task is defined and given the name setup.net. Then with the use key I defined which action to run. This in my case is to set up .NET on the runner machine. This is uses actions slash setup dash .NET v4. I also defined the version of .NET to be set up using the with key, that is .NET dash version 10.0.x. So this means .NET 10 will be set up on the runner machine. The next task, restore the dependencies of the ASP.NET Core app. It runs the .NET restore CLI command that uses NuGet to download and install all the dependencies, packages and tools required by the app. The next task, build the app with .NET build command. The use of -no-restore flag tells to build a .NET project or solution without automatically performing a NuGet package restore operation. The next task, perform the testing of the app and upload the test result on a directory called test results. This task is named test and runs the test but does not build the project. See -no-build flag. This will make the process fast. It also sets the output level to normal with --verbosity normal flag. The --logger trx will generate a Visual Studio test result file called .trx. This XML based file contains the test execution results. The .trx file will be created inside the test results directory. See the flag --result directory test results. Then the task name, upload .NET test results. Upload the test results directory artifact from the runner machine, making them available to download after the workflow execution is completed. Through this you can download the test results on your local PC and debug why a particular test has failed. The expression if $$ always is used to ensure that the job or step runs regardless of whether previous steps or jobs in the workflow succeeded, failed or were cancelled. So the upload of the test artifact will always run regardless of the result of the test performed by the workflow. Then we have the publish task, which publishes the app using .NET publish command. The configuration is set to release and output directory is given as publish. After that, the final task is to deploy the app to Azure App Service. Here I set the app-name from the environment variable $env.azure_webapp_name. I also set the publish profile to $secrets.publish_secret. This will give my GitHub Azure App Service credentials so that it can deploy the published codes on publish folder to Azure. See the next section where I will configure this thing. We also define the package location of the app as package:/publish. This is the directory containing the published codes of the app. I will now create an Azure app on Azure App Services. This is my Azure dashboard. I go to the App Services where I create a new web app. Here I select a resource group from my existing resource groups. Then I select the regions as Central US. It can be any region of your choice. Then I name the app as Quiz. This name should be the same which I defined on the workflow file. Select code for the publish field. Runtime stack as .NET. Operating system as Linux. Then I select the least expensive pricing plan. Click the Review plus Create button, which will take us to the final page. Here click the Create button to start the app creation. Within the few minutes, the app in Azure App Services will be created. And on clicking its URL, it can be seen on the browser. We now create our GitHub repository which will save the ASP.NET Core app. This is my GitHub account. I create a new repository and name it Quiz. Name of the repository can be anything of your liking. I provide a small description and click the Create Repository button. Now note the 3 git commands that are given below to push the codes on this repository. I also add a secret. So on the Settings tab, go to the Secrets and Variables and click Actions. Then under the repository secrets, click the button saying New Repository Secret. We have to give the name publish underscore secret, which is given on the workflow file. The workflow will fetch the secret value which contains the publish profile value in order to deploy the app to Azure. I will download the publish profile from the Azure App Services. If I click on the download publish profile button, I get the message basic authentication is disabled. I have to enable it first, so I go to the settings, then go to the configuration, and here select the checkbox for SMC basic auth publishing credentials and click the apply button. Then I am able to download the publish profile. The publish profile file is now downloaded on my local PC and it is an XML file. Open this file on Notepad and copy all its contents and add it to the secret text box on GitHub. Click the Add Secret button to save it. Now we will use the git commands to push the ASP.NET Core app from my local PC to this repository. Let's push the app from my local PC to GitHub repository. This is the directory of the app. I open a terminal window or command prompt window or a PowerShell window here to run the git commands. The first command to run is git init. This command creates a git repository. The next command is git add dot. This adds new or changed files to the staging area. The next command is git commit -m and name the command as quiz app. This will commit the changes. After that, we run the 3 git commands given on the GitHub. The first command is to add a remote repository to Git. This remote repository is my GitHub repository. The next command is git branch -m main, which sets the pointer to the main branch. After that, I run the push command to push the app from my local PC to my GitHub repository. The command is git push -u origin main. Wait for the few minutes for this command to finish. The push is now completed and all my files of my ASP.NET Core app are pushed to my GitHub repository. Let's check whether the workflow has triggered or not. Click the Actions link. Here is the workflow which is currently in running state. If I click it, then it is showing all the tasks which it is running. Some tasks are already completed. The build task is currently in running state. And now it has finished. The upload of test artifact is completed now. It gives download link from where I can download the test artifact, and it gives all the results of the test executions. The final task, which is to deploy the app to Azure App Services, is currently executing. And you can see it has also finished successfully. So our workflow has now completed successfully, and we can refresh the app on the browser and see whether the app has updated or not. So the app is updated with the quiz being shown on it. Let me show the working of the quiz. And you can see it's working great. Go to the workflow and open the task upload.NET test results. Here is the link to the artifact which I can download on my PC. Extract the zip file and then open it on the notepad. This will show the test execution results. These are very helpful to know if something is going wrong in the app. I will now update the app. So I open the index view file and add updated text to it. Save the file, then again run the same git commands, which are git add dot, git commit -m, and git push. Let's check the workflow now. It has triggered. We have to wait for a few moments for it to get completed. So now it has completed successfully. We refresh the browser to see the new changes to the app. And here you can see the updated text showing on the home page. This shows that the new deployment of the updated app is done to Azure by GitHub Actions. Let's see what will happen when test fails. So I open the test controller file, which contains a unit test that fails. I uncomment this unit test. Then I save the file, and with git commands I push the changes to my GitHub repository. The git commands remains the same. Let's check the workflow. It has triggered, and we have to wait for a few minutes time for it to get completed. The workflow has finished. It shows the test task has failed, so in this case no deployment to Azure is done by GitHub Actions. So this completes the CI/CD pipeline created on GitHub Actions for ASP.NET Core App to be deployed to Azure App Services. I covered every single step for you to understand how the CI/CD pipeline works for ASP.NET Core apps. The link to this tutorial is given on the description, so do check it, where you will find the full process in details along with all the commands which you can copy and paste on your system. I would also like to tell you that I have launched Docker for ASP.NET Code Developers course on Udemy, which you can check out if you are a .NET developer, because it covers every necessary things which a .NET developer should know about Docker. How to run Docker containerized ASP.NET Core apps on their PC, and also to deploy them to Azure. So do check it. The link is given on the description.